Hey guys, and welcome to the Nexo Ninja here today, and I'm a big fan of Kirby Right Back At Ya, the Kirby anime, and it is definitely one of my favorite shows outside of Ninjago and all that, and it was personally a huge shock when I realized there was a Kirby TV show about 4 years ago. But I went on YouTube, and YouTube basically has every episode of Kirby Right Back At Ya, and I checked all of them out. The first year of watching this was amazing. I have watched the series a total of 3 times now, and I am here today to count down my top 10 episodes. So let's get into it. Number 10 is Kirby Comes to Cappy Town. This was the original episode and the first episode to introduce the series, and I'm actually going to say this was actually a pretty good series introduction. My favorite series introduction is still Ninjago, though, but this one had a real great introduction, meaning Kirby crashing down and everyone knowing that he's this new Star Warrior that is going to save their land from enemy. And it's just a really cool episode to see these new characters introduced, like Tiff, Tough, and a bunch of other ones. It's also great to see characters that we know and love, like Kirby, King Dedede, and Meta Knight, all in a show. And this is where the series started, and we all knew it was gonna be a great series. And it had a really big run of 100 episodes, and this was just the start. Definitely a great start, though. Let's get to number 9. Number 9 is Unreality TV. This is definitely a great episode, and it is actually one of the first episodes introduced to. This episode has King Dedede making a TV station that actually gets most people sucked into TV and unable to go outside, and then he tricks them all that there's a monster outside, so they won't go outside, and that eventually gets him turning the people of Cappy Town against Kirby because the monster is here for Kirby, making them not want to be around Kirby, and that's actually a really unique concept for an episode. In most TV shows, you don't really see that, and it was just a really great episode and just a pleasure to watch. And yeah, so let's get to number 8 now. Number 8 is episode 30, Abusement Park. That is obviously a play on words between abuse and amusement park. This one is absolutely a funny episode, and I just overall love watching it. The episode starts as King Dedede actually makes a big amusement park for the residents of Dreamland, but Tiff, Kirby, and Tough, and a bunch of other kids actually get flinged onto this big part that they weren't supposed to go on, but King Dedede wanted them to go on in the ride, and it originally came to be a trap, and they actually need to get a way out of there, and of course stop King Dedede, and that was just a really funny episode to me. I really did like the amusement park concept, and I really like to see how they actually got out of all the traps and everything. Just overall a great episode, and definitely one that I definitely recommend if you're new to the show, because you'll definitely get a kick out of it. Now let's get to the next one. Number 7 is episode 3, Kirby Dual Role. In this episode, it's just a great episode, and you actually learn a lot about Meta Knight's character in the show from just this one episode, basically at the beginning of the series. So, King Dedede forces Meta Knight to get Kirby into a duel to find a weakness for Kirby, and they figure out that Kirby cannot use a sword unless he inhales it and becomes Sword Kirby. And this episode was great. The fight was really great, and you actually figure out, like I said earlier, more about Meta Knight, that Meta Knight is secretly on Kirby's side, but just acting to be on King Dedede's side. And the end of this episode, I really do get a kick when Meta Knight actually kicks King Dedede's tank off the mountain. Definitely incredibly funny. Meta Knight is absolutely one of my favorite characters right back at you. And this episode, dedicating to him and Kirby at the same time, is actually really great. And you actually see Meta Knight teach Kirby something extremely valuable about being a swordsman. And that's just how great this episode was. So actually, let's get to number 6 now. Number 6 is episode 47, A Half-Baked Battle, and this one is actually incredibly funny, and I just overall like the concept of the episode. Like, you don't see shows like this making a concept this unique and this funny. The episode starts with, I think a pie accidentally going into King Dedede's face, and then everyone thought it was funny, and then everyone started throwing pies in everyone's face, and it just became, like, a really funny thing where everyone did it, and it sort of just got really annoying, and Tiff tried to actually stop it. And this was just an episode, like I said, is really unique, and you actually don't see much cartoons doing that. And I really do like the episodes that Tiff mainly try to stop whatever they're doing, but this one you can actually feel kind of like, why would you not want pie chucked in someone's face? You can actually see the point of view, like, oh yeah, that's wasting food. But I mean, it's their choice. They buy the food. They basically can do whatever they want with it. So this is like the only episode where I actually disagree with Tiff. But it is a great episode, how to see everyone just get chucked pies in their face, and definitely just great to see King Dedede try to actually nail Kirby with a pie, but being unable because of his inhalability. Just a fun and great episode. Number 5 is episode 72, Waddle While You Work, and this is actually a great episode. You can actually, if you don't want to watch this episode on YouTube, you can actually check it out on Kirby's 20th Anniversary Collection. That's where I first watched this episode, but it is a great episode. King Dedede owes Nightmare Enterprises a lot of money, so they won't give him any more monsters till he pays off his debt. So he actually comes up with this genius idea to sell Waddle Dees, and then there's Waddle Dees working and doing everyone's work, and King Dedede actually runs out of Waddle Dees, and he actually, he's like alone, and like no one's there to help him, so he's there, hungry, trying to find food for himself because the Waddle Dees aren't cooking for him, and definitely just a great King Dedede episode. You don't really see much King Dedede episodes in the series, but when you do, you know you're in for a treat, and it is definitely a great episode. Definitely check it out. You'll get a kick out of it. You'll actually feel incredibly sorry for King Dedede. It's great to see a lot of Waddle Dees in one episode, because they actually don't get much attention in the series, but definitely just a great overall experience just to watch and have a gag about Waddle Dees being sold and doing everyone's work. So let's get to the next one. Number 4 is episode 63, Something to Sneeze At. This is a great episode in my opinion, and you see everyone in Cappy Town getting sick, and King Dedede is complaining because he actually can't get sick, and then Escargoon brings it to his attention that the reason he can't get sick is because he's not intelligent. And so King Dedede actually orders a monster to get him sick, and then he actually gets incredibly sick and just wants to get the monster away, and actually gets Kirby to swallow it. But it is definitely a funny episode, and you like to see all the different ways before King Dedede orders the monster, all the different ways he tries to get sick. It's just definitely funny, and like episodes like this I really do enjoy from cartoons. I can't really explain it, but I just overall like episodes like this. Incredibly fun and funny to me. But anyway, let's get to number 3. Number 3 is episode 64, The Kirby Quiz. And this episode is sort of like a big flashback to a bunch of other episodes in the show. And it's actually where King Dedede and a bunch of other people compete in the quiz. To know the quiz is based on Kirby and what monsters he fought in what events sort of took place. And it was definitely just fun. I like how the quiz episode and sort of like everyone is trying to guess Kirby's life, but yet Kirby's there and getting like basically everything right because he lived his life, and it was just definitely a funny experience to see like King Dedede get every answer wrong because he has to guess it, and he thinks everything he does is right, and it's just a great episode to see like a quiz and everything. So definitely just a great one to check out. Now let's get to number 2. Number 2 is episode 31 and 32 of the series, the Kirby Derby. The reason I'm throwing both of the episodes on this list is because they are a two-parter, and this definitely is a great episode in my opinion. Episodes, I should say. So the episode starts with King Dedede getting a brand new car and actually wanting to race with it, and so he creates this derby, and actually a bunch of other people try to enter, and he tries to get Kirby lured in it so he can use his brand new car to sort of like get rid of Cloud Kirby, which is reference from the show. And this definitely great. I really do enjoy this one, is because Mario Kart is definitely one of my favorite games out there, and it's sort of cool to see like a Kirby version of Mario Kart. And this makes you actually see if there's actually hope in the future for a Kirby Mario Kart, basically. Or, Kirby in the new Mario Kart game. That'd just be cool. But it's definitely really cool to see all of your favorite characters from the show race. And Kirby to get in all these traps and to avoid them and everything. It's just really cool to see a race thing. episode 2 in this list, the Kirby Derby Part 2, is basically the race. And episode 1, Kirby Derby Part 1, is basically them preparing for the race. And then they start it near the end, but definitely just a great episode. And it's actually really funny to see who wins the race, being the mayor, because like everyone else has basically destroyed their vehicles, and it's just the mayor left, and it's just a funny coincidence. But I do recommend checking out this episode. Now let's get to number 1. Number 1 is basically the Kirby 3-part end special. I heard a lot of people call it Fight to the Finish, and that's what I'm calling it. It's a 3-part special, and it's definitely a really great ending to the show. It is an extremely great ending to the show, and the thing is, when you actually catch word of that a show is ending, you're like, oh, you really start to hope for the best of the show's ending, because like some shows just do a cheap ending because they want to keep some of the money. But anyway, the weird part of this is when this show actually aired in the U.S. is some of the ending episodes were actually pushed to halfway into the series run because of Kirby Air Ride, and they wanted to do something big to promote it, which I think is stupid. The American show run was really stupid, but you can actually watch it all in order on YouTube, and if you were in Japan, you get extremely lucky because you were able to watch the whole thing in order. But anyway, like I mentioned before, when I hear a show is ending, I get a fear that it's going to end with a horrible ending, and this is a great example that it's a great ending of a show. 3 parts, but I'm counting all 3 of them. Definitely great. Just overall great. The episode starts with Kirby having this vision of getting attacked by enemies, warriors, and so Meta Knight actually reveals his secret weapon that he has hidden the whole time, being the halberd, and they basically fly to enemy base and try to destroy enemy and the entire base entirely. And a funny part in the show, in this episode, is actually when King Dedede and Escargoon are in jail in the show, and King Dedede, like an idiot, he actually picks up the phone and talks to the enemy salesman guy, and he actually sends a monster on the halberd, which basically destroys the whole thing. And this is a great reference, which Kirby Read Back At You is great from references from the show. And yes, the reference is Heavy Lobster, which is a boss from Kirby Superstar, is in there and destroying the whole ship, which he actually does in Kirby Superstar. He's in the halberd and he's destroying the whole ship. And it's funny to see how Kirby takes him out with, like, I think it was Ice or Cook Kirby. But anyway, Kirby got a lot of his copy ability uses in this episode. And yeah, this was a really great episode in my opinion, and a really great ending to the show. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have a favorite Kirby Right Back At You episode, leave it in the comments below. And if you haven't seen the show, definitely check it out. There's 100 episodes, but there is a bonus one for the 3DS. Great show, great for any Kirby fan. In my opinion, out of all the video game shows I have watched, this is my favorite. Definitely a true show to Kirby fans. You're going to love it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.